What's up, my fellow weirdos? Welcome to the Weird Girl Findings. This is Naomi,
and Syria.
your neighborhood weirdos. Welcome back to the Weird Girl Findings. This is your host, Naomi.
And Syria.
You know something different, guys? What? Are we on the video?
The Weird Girls have officially taken over YouTube.
It had to happen.
Yes.
Eventually. And after almost a year of doing this, it was time.
Yeah. So if we're looking off at the wrong places,
because it's hard not to
we're just having weird body movements. We're not used to this, but there's first for everything.
For everything.
And we're gonna make this work. We're gonna have some fun.
Yes. So, what did you do yesterday?
Well, we did. What did we do yesterday? Well, we celebrated Black History Month with our jobs by going to a Black-owned restaurant and a African American museum.
Yes, and it was amazing.
It was a powerful experience. I loved it.
Did you like the food?
Yeah, I loved the food. I had a burger. It was good.
Yeah,
cooked good. It was crazy because it was like a small venue.
Very small.
And this is Chef's Shack, right?
Chef's Shack Kitchen.
It's a very small venue, and we came in with like 17 people, and then a party of 8 came in right after us.
I know.
And then like more and more people kept coming in. And it's
when it opened too. It was just like immediately when it opened.
Yeah, we were there.
Everybody was there
the minute after it opened, and then everybody started coming in. So they were making some good money. So
hopefully a good tip for them. I don't know. I didn't pay for it.
Oh no. Like hopefully they were tipped. They better been tipped because that's gonna make me mad. No, because it's not our money, so I'm glad they got to pay.
Yeah,
they paid for it.
Yeah, free meal. It's always good to buy book.
Yes, but the museum though, that was my favorite part. Everything about that. That was the what's it called? Roots 101 African American History Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And we got.
You went all out. It's not history in there, it's just African American.
Okay, hold on.
But there's history for African Americans. Let's just put it that way.
I thought it was like called that. It's not called African American history.
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh.
No. Not.
Okay. Well, there's history. So
there's history for African Americans.
Yeah, but it was amazing. Like, so the curator, like, we sat down. He spoke about like where all of his collection comes from and just his reasons behind doing this to help the community. And our job is like a job that we help people in the community, and we kind of talked about like the similarities between that. And we did this exercise where we got to put on the shackles.
Yeah. And that was quite an experience because the curator asked us to basically what we felt in that moment or how our ancestors felt in that moment. And that was pretty life-changing and kind of emotional. When you were promised 40 acres of land and mules and you come to a new country in chains is like mind-blowing.
Yeah. And so we put it on, and he asked you what comes to your mind. And what did you say?
Confusion. I keep on forgetting what I said. I know it was confusion, and then there was just so many emotions right in that moment that was just like confusion, frustration. There's something else like maybe anger.
Yeah.
Because, like, how are you gonna restrict me of my freedom when I really didn't even ask to be here?
Yeah. Um, yeah, for me, I said like pressure, like weight and heavy because honestly, those chains were very heavy.
Mm-hmm. There
And
were.
just to think about the slaves that had to walk around with those on their arms and carrying them, even if they put their hands down, the chains are not long enough to rest on the ground. So they have to hold them. And you must feel that that weight like all the time.
We always talk the weakness they try to say about us. Follow me? So when you feel these changes, you also feel the strength of your ancestors who brought you. Is that fair enough?
Like, being brought over in the ships, all like being trafficked because this it was trafficking. So being trafficked throughout the country like that is sounds very devastating.
And like, not like the original Africans that were brought over here didn't even see freedom,
Yeah.
nor did their children or their children's children, so forth and so on. Like, they didn't get to see that. And so
Hmm.
that's devastating on itself.
Yeah. Um. Ooh. Yeah. That was good. Like thinking about it, it's kind of giving me chills. It's kind of it was very like it's a very scary thought that happened and that we went through it for decades and or centuries
I was
really.
about to say, not just
Um.
decades.
Yeah. And then even after slavery ended, we had Jim Crow and years of
Right.
segregation and just so the after slavery, we had years of segregation, discrimination, and um, separations with like we couldn't even get education because they were only making schools for white people.
Right.
And we discussed like earlier this week about how Ruby Bridges, she's 69. She's
Wow.
only 69. And she was like one of the first African American children, black children that went to an all white school. And those kids that were yelling at her and calling her the N word, they're still alive. Or, they're only 60, they're only 70. They have kids. They could have passed their. So I hate the whole, oh, racism has been over. Slavery was like 200 years ago or some bull stuff. Like, are we forgetting that the civil rights was less than 100 years ago in
Definitely.
the 60s? Like, are we forgetting that?
Yeah, we are,
Yeah.
because I just had somebody um, basically add me on a social media platform, and I posted something that was a picture of many years ago in the 60s, I believe. This black man was rebelliously drinking from the whites
Oh,
only
yeah.
fountain.
Hmm.
And somebody's going to add me, knowing that I look black,
Yeah.
dark black at that,
Hmm.
and say what I posted was racist. Well, if you know me, even if you don't, I will go off on you. And then after I read you your rights, I'll delete and block you. You're going
Yeah.
to remember, and then you're not going to have any contact with me whatsoever. But I just want you to explain to me, how was that racist?
It's not. To post someone doing something anti-racist is racist.
And he said things like, yes, it was a he. No, I'm just kidding. He said things like, well, that was 60 years ago and nobody cares and Black Lives Matter don't matter. And like, shut up.
How can if you're the type of person that's all lives matter and you're against Black Lives Matter, don't try to talk to a black person because we're not going to agree with you. We're not Candace Owens. Like, come on now.
We're
Like,
not a part of the Coonville University.
not the Coonville University. Um, yeah, it's crazy. People just say the craziest thing.
the craziest things, but like me minding my own grown business and you added me. I didn't search for you. I didn't look at your profile and be like, that's interesting because I don't care. So for you to go out of your way to add me and then say something is racist, like, bye. Good riddance. You don't have to be here. I didn't invite you.
No.
Okay, do you?
But so speaking of that, we actually recreated that image because they had a like whites only, blacks only water fountain, and then they had like the bathroom, colored bathroom, you know, and that was cool. And just the whole everything they had um drones ranging back how
Mm-hmm.
long ago? I don't know.
I don't know.
And then all those shackles that we had
Those look
on,
old.
he said they were like 300 years ago or something, like 300 years
That's
old or
crazy.
something. And it that really is kind of like a life changing thing.
It was amazing to look at because the history behind it, but also it was
Hmm.
just so devastating because you have to really think of what these people went through.
Hmm.
Like nobody deserves to be a slave, treated like a slave. Everybody deserves to have freedom.
Hmm.
If you have freedom, then everybody else should have freedom. It shouldn't be restricted.
Definitely. Um, you know, and then another thing I've heard people say is there's still slavery now, which I mean, yes, but that doesn't erase the atrocities that we went through.
Exactly. You try to downplay the slavery
Yeah.
from years ago, but still black people are oppressed. You try to downplay that and be like, "Oh, it's slavery today." No, it wasn't like that back
It
then. It
was,
was a
yeah,
lot worse. There was lynchings going
yeah,
on and people being killed and raped. Like, no, there's. I mean,
yeah,
yes, that type of activity is going on now
and
potentially, but it was constantly occurring to this community, this group of people.
that they brought from a different country for the sole purpose of using us as chattel slavery.
Yes,
And
exactly.
then they compared the Irish, and the Irish weren't really slaves.
No,
They were like indentured servants. And when guess what? When they were ready to end their contracts, they were able to. And not only that, is that they could assimilate into white culture. They could just pretend to be white, and because they are
exactly.
white, they don't have to pretend.
Because they are.
Black people could not just run away and then pretend like they're white unless they were like a slave owner's descendant,
Yeah,
one of
white
their
passing.
secret babies that they had. But we couldn't just be like, I'm gonna run away from this plantation and then just pretend to be white. Like, no, they're
It
taking
doesn't
our
work
black
that
ass
way.
back to the field and selling us to somebody. They're like, we don't even
Right.
know where you're from, but you're gonna work for somebody up in here.
Somebody. Because
Like,
you ain't white. You're not right. You know, this kind of brings me back to what my dad was saying long ago. My dad was born in the 40s in Montgomery, Alabama. And he would say, he would hear around in the community with white people, if you're white, you're all right. If you're red, you go ahead. If you're brown, you stick around. And if you're black, you stay back.
mm,
And so you think that slavery and oppression of black people was so many years ago when it was literally just in the 40s
hmm,
that my dad was talking about it.
yeah. And I know sundown towns.
Are
I mean,
still there because I
they
went
still
through
exist.
one on accidentally.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a southern
We live in
state.
Kentucky,
Yeah, and it's we live in Louisville, so it's very urban, very
very
modern.
modern.
Jinx.
Jinx.
And so I'm always scared about like leaving. You know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
there's some places out in the cut
Mm-hmm.
that I wouldn't be caught dead in.
Girl, I almost died.
I'd be like, is it safe for me to get out at this gas station, or should I just stay back? Because if you're black,
you stay back.
stay back. Like,
Because I'm not white and I'm not all right according, with your eyes. So
yeah.
I only went to one, I think, and I got out there so fast.
Yeah.
People were trying to run me over.
My goodness.
While I was on the highway. So I was like, I have to get to Louisville fast.
Yeah,
and I was pregnant too, so
that's terrifying.
Yes, that was very terrifying, but I'm glad I made it.
Yeah. Sure. No. You can pay me to go to some of these places.
Mm-mm.
In the Appalachia or something.
Oh, no.
You can't pay me.
Not when we're looking like this.
And it's crazy because I feel like they try to say like, oh, racism, no one's racist really. But it's like, yes, you are. Like, let's stop playing it. Like, we know what it is. I've seen racist people. I've had racist experience. So to pretend like people aren't racist, especially when I went to school with people who were racist, like very like openly racist, they're the same people today who be like, it's not racist for me to say this. You were racist in high school. You're probably still racist now. So who are you to tell anybody that it's not racist to do something?
Exactly.
Like, you're racist. Like, that's the biggest issue I have with racists these days. Because we used to know who was racist and who wasn't. Now the racists are like basically gaslighting black and like other POCs about what racism is. So they'll do something that's racist and they'll be like, oh, that's not racist. And black people say, yes, it is. And they argue. But it's like, who are you to tell me what I can be offended about?
Yeah.
Like,
that's all part of the control of what their ancestors did. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, you can't feel this. You can't be this way. They took away the language. Like, they controlled our ancestors so much. They feel like they can do that now.
And they don't even realize that them trying to control what racism is making them sound more racist. like if I came up and slapped you in the face, right? And then I was like, that didn't even hurt. No, it's like, you can't tell me that didn't hurt. Like, I barely slapped you. Like, you're being crazy right now. Like, if I wanted to hurt you, I could do so many harder things, but I didn't punch you in the face. I just slapped you. Get over it. You didn't learn how to get over stuff. I was slapped in the face once. So, racism doesn't exist because I was slapped in the face and I'm white. That's what they say. I grew up poor and had crackhead mom. Racism, white privilege doesn't exist because my mom was a crackhead. I'm sorry, they do say that though. I've heard people, they'd be like, I grew up poor, so white privilege must have missed me. But it's like, do you not realize that white privilege doesn't mean you're going to be rich? It just means that your situation isn't directly caused by the color of your skin.
That part. But people don't understand that, and it still goes over their head. Or they're just trying to be delusional, possibly.
Yeah.
And it's not working anymore. We aren't our ancestors. We will probably get a voting chair.
Yeah.
To rectify a situation.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I forgot about that. That was a historic moment.
Some young man swam across whatever river. What was it? In Alabama or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
He swam across and he helped his neighbor. Helped a brother.
Yeah. They like united. Once they got through that hat up in the air, the black people united all around. That was a signal. Woo-woo-woo! Oh my God.
And everybody heard it. I feel like I had a little tingle in my ear that day. I just couldn't make it to Alabama.
Yeah, no. I was like, like someone put the bat symbol up. I'm like,
ancestors?
I need it.
I just can't get to you. I'm sending you my energy.
Yes, like I sent my energy to the people there.
And that's how we won.
And I was like, grab a chair. Grab a chair.
Swing it this way. Swing it this way.
Oh my goodness. Like, we joke about it, but it's like, that was privilege. That was entitlement and privilege. Like, this guy thought, even though we're not supposed to be here, we're gonna be here,
and we're gonna
I'm
fight you
start
for it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start a fight, even though I'm in the wrong.
Hee hee. Like, leave people
Right.
alone. People just don't know how to leave people alone. If it's an actual rule, and you don't own this property, then you need to abide by these rules, or you need to get out.
Yeah, that was a crazy situation, though.
Like, that's simple. If a store is closed, are you going to try to break in? Like, and then you're going to be shocked when you're arrested? Like, what? Like, make it make sense.
Yeah. No, so that gym or gym, that museum, I feel like more people should go to it. More people,
We lived here.
melanin redacted people, probably
I like that melanin redacted.
They should probably experience something like that and see all of the artwork and see the Confederate flag. Because let's stop playing around and pretending. That's another form of gaslighting. They're like, oh, people are so sensitive about stuff these days. But when I was little, my mom used to tell me, like, when people had that flag, that they were racist. So it's not new.
My parents did too.
That's always been a thing since I was little. But now all of a sudden, oh, it's heritage, not hate. That was a new saying. Back when I was younger, the racist people loved flying that. It was never hidden. It was never hidden that they were racist. But now they're like hiding behind.
But the Confederacy lost. They're losers.
They're traitors.
That's not heritage.
That's treason. Why would you? If you, how can they be patriotic, but also treat like for trees like. It makes for traitors. That's literally treason.
I don't get it. Yeah.
So why are you supporting both the regular flag and the Confederate flag? That makes no sense. Make it.
It's our heritage. But what So basically, you're a loser, a part of a loser community that lost, and you want to claim that as your heritage? You are known traitors. But that's your heritage? To be traitors? That doesn't sound like a good name.
Slave masters. And they try to lie and say they didn't fight. It was for states' rights. Yeah, states' rights to have slaves. We're not stupid. They wanted slaves. Like,
I think the people that are saying that are stupid, and they really don't have any education from the Appalachian Mountains.
And the rich people and the racist family members told them that, so they believe it, or they just like to like be delusional. They like lie to themselves so they don't feel bad or something. Because it's like, why are you guys rewriting history? When I was little, we were taught what the Confederacy was and what it stood for and what the war was about. Now in 2024 and like in 2010s is when they started being like, oh, it's not racist. And it's like, what? Like, where did this come from? When did the Confederacy stop being racist?
You know, I feel like they're like, oh no, we're losing our grip. Let's add more racism. Let's rev it up a little bit. Like,
because the racism's getting crazy. Like, honestly, I've been seeing a lot of like racist stuff on Instagram, like in the comments. Yeah, it'll be random stuff, and it'll just be racist comments for no reason. And I don't
about what? Like, what are they saying?
Anything, man. Like, just like a black girl doing cosplay. Back in the day, you could see a black girl doing cosplay of anything on Instagram, and it'd be nothing but good comments. I saw this black girl was super cute, and then you saw some cute comments, but then there was tons of just racist comments, and then people saying, "Why are you guys being racist?" Like, and I am like, where is this coming from?
The secret animosity.
Well, you're not even black. You could have at least cosplayed as this character instead of this character because she's darker. You don't have to it's cosplay. She's not doing whiteface. She's just in her normal skin. Well, imagine, or they'll say something like, imagine if a white girl cosplay as a black character. We wouldn't care.
Yeah, we wouldn't care. It's cosplay.
Black face.
Yeah, we don't like that. We don't favor that at all. That's offensive.
Yeah, in which when we went to the museum, they had pictures of blackface.
Well, and we're gonna display them right here.
Yeah, and it's racist, and I don't get why people don't realize or understand why it's racist. There's so much, like the guy, curator, when he was telling us about how The Birth of the Nation is the first movie they played, like the first full length movie, and I think the first movie they played in the White House. Um, he they had a white face character, and they have the white people, and they have the white people being the heroes and the black people being corrupt and doing all this stuff, and white people coming and taking them down. And that is propaganda that made white people think that we're evil, you know. And blackface was often meant like a white guy, dress up like a black person doing dumb stuff or doing terrible stuff,
Right.
and just to make us look bad and for white people to laugh at us. And like, imagine being a white kid and you've never seen a black person in real life, and you go to one of these minstrel shows and you see them doing like silly, goofy stuff or being like thieves and stuff on stage, and you're like, wow, that must be how black people really are. You put that into the minds and you poison the minds for
Mind control. Like, that's mind control at its finest. Like, oh, the blackface. Oh, they're thieves. Stay away from them. You have to segregation. You have to separate these black
Mhm.
folks because they're up to no good. But they weren't. Like, you were just creating that rumor so everybody hates black people.
And
It's still happening to this day. I feel like black women are the most hated human on this earth. And it's not, I don't think it's fabricated. I don't think it's just like blown out of proportion. This is actual facts that black women are very hated.
and it's crazy because, like, the one thing I feel like they kind of respect black males, but at the same time they can treat them a little different. I just feel like black women just aren't protective as black men because we step up when it comes to black men,
Right.
and it's not always the
But
same.
when it comes to us, we just feel kind of exposed.
But speaking of black women, they had an exhibit of Billie Holiday and her song "Strange Fruit," and there's this beautiful artwork where it's strange fruit, but it's really lynchings. And
Yeah.
that's what the song's about. And that song was so powerful because she went through a lot, but she never let that stop her from, trying to go after her career and spreading the word. She sung that song, Strange Fruit, like any chance she got, and they kept trying to stop her. Like,
Yeah.
sending people, like secret agents after her, and she wouldn't stop performing that song.
But the real messed up thing about it was they were still doing those lynchings. So
Yeah.
why were they so uncomfortable?
They were mad because they were caught out. And instead of getting mad at and trying to track down the people that's lynching people, they're like, let's follow the girl. Let's spend all of our police force money on trying to hunt down this girl and frame her for doing drugs. Well, I mean, she was a drug addict, but they like, let's try to catch her doing drugs, instead of stopping the actual lynching because we don't want to admit that it's a problem.
Right.
And that was just that's like a little powerful picture they had with her singing the song. Like, that song gives me goosebumps and chills. Like, when I first heard it, I think like I got chills. I might have cried a little.
Aww.
I think I was a teenager when I first heard it. I saw the video, and I've heard of it. And I never knew that's what Strange Fruit was. I didn't know it was about lynching. I was just like, Billie Holiday, Strange Fruit. But when I heard the lyrics, I'm like, ooh,
that's deep.
That's the fruit. Wow. But we did get to see some more positive things. They showed our first time, like, they had an exhibit for women in like black people in media, and how we started to like actually get our own stuff, like Jet and Ebony magazine,
and also what Billie Holiday wore. The outfit with the shoes, and we have some clips of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty decent.
Yeah. Well, we're here in Louisville, and there was an exhibit, a room full of the Louisville legend, Static Major. He has produced like hits, albums, and records for like for Usher, Aaliyah, Lil Wayne. He did a Carter. Jamie Foxx, Unpredictable. and he's from here. He passed away about 10 years ago or so.
Yeah,
But he's a legend, and
definitely. In a Louisville native.
a Louisville native. I love that. I mean, everybody knows about Jack Harlow, but and Jennifer Lawrence, but they don't know about
Jennifer Lawrence.
Sadik Major.
Not many people do.
Yeah,
Well, I guess people do, but not as
maybe not as much as they know like them, because they're really big and mainstream. And I mean, he was mainstream then. It was just like it was before the internet, and he was a producer, and I feel like sometimes they don't get as much credit.
the cred.
Yeah, but he wrote music and he was a producer. So, but shout outs to him. But overall, it was a great experience, and I'm so thankful for my job for like putting that together
and paying for it.
Yeah,
we were treated like queens, like African queens.
Yeah, we
there.
literally got to sit on the thrones,
and we'll post clips because it's a really cool experience. And if you're ever in the Louisville area, I think you should check it out. It's life-changing.
It really is.
Well, I think that is all for this episode of Weird Girl Findings.
Yeah.
Tune in next time because we're going to be doing videos.
And if you're listening to it on Spotify, please go to YouTube and watch our video, like it, subscribe. Even if you prefer to
just hear podcasts,
still subscribe so we can get our subscribe numbers up, our subscriber count up, and we thank you for everything.
Until next time, stay weird, y'all.